Hi, welcome to this video about Ted Lasso. In this one, I'm covering Nate, the character of Nate. In a previous video, I covered Ted and his time in therapy. And in this one, I'm covering Nate. I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into his character and the issues going on there inside his mind. And I think it will help illustrate some of the concepts that I think are just helpful to know or just interesting to know.
That's right, make another useless policy you're gonna backtrack on in a week. Idiots!
Talking to the newspapers again, sweetheart. Let me know if they ever talk back.
Well, first let me start by saying my feelings about Nate so far this season. I've been disturbed by his character. I felt a lot of love for him in the first season, and this season it's disturbing now that he's got a little bit more power, a little bit more status. You see him lashing out more at people he finds to be maybe weaker than he is. In his mind, I don't know that they actually are weaker, but to him they are, and good targets for him. In this first clip, we see him on Twitter, and he's got all this, like, these great tweets about him. They're very positive, and you can see he's smiling and he seems excited that he's getting this kind of attention. And so he's going with that energy into his parents' home. They cut to his parents and his dad yelling at the paper, calling them idiots. Seems like some sort of government thing, I don't know, but he's calling them idiots, and which seems a little harsh. And then his wife responds to that with like happy, carefree attitude, like it's nothing, which probably makes them a good fit, but it disturbs me personally. Like, she's okay with that. That doesn't bother her. That doesn't get under her skin. She just treats it like he just said the sky is blue. You know, to her, it doesn't disturb her at all. So I'm thinking about that for Nate and how he grew up and the dynamic between his parents and where that left him in between the two of them.
Hello, darling.
Got you these, there you go.
Oh, thank you. What's the occasion?
Oh, nothing, you know, just an ordinary day. Oh, wow, look at that. Whew. It's a good one, that. Hey, Dad.
Nathan.
Before he says hi to his dad, he greets his mother with flowers. He's clearly very happy. He greets the like craft of some kind in his chair or in the chair positively, like he's happy with it. And then he sits across from his dad and he kind of has this like unsure look, but he's, you know, you get the sense that he's excited for his dad to find out what he's done and the talk about him. And his dad hardly greets him, which says a lot in just that. His dad barely greets him, doesn't look up from the paper, and kind of even says hello, Nathan, in a very authoritative or even dismissive way. So you get a sense of what Nate would have encountered anytime he was excited about anything. He would have encountered something sort of castrating from his dad, and he knocks his legs out from under him.
Would you look at that? Let anyone in the newspapers nowadays, wouldn't they?
They say humility is not thinking less of yourself, thinking about yourself less.
My little boy wonder.
Yes, I remember it's a Wonder Kid. Well, a Wunderkind, actually, is what I think I said. But I just didn't.
And so his dad continues this, punching him in the gut act. And Nate wants his dad to be excited, wants him to share, wants his dad to be proud of him, I assume. I'm guessing, because don't we all want our dads to be proud of us? And his dad doesn't give him 1 second of approval. Not 1 second. That paints you a really good picture of how this has gone in his life. Then immediately, Nate's whole mood changes, and he starts to look more shut down. And so it's like he can go from up here to down here so quickly. You see that like shuffling back and forth really. And he seems to feel very bad about himself, where he was just feeling very good. And you see it come out in that same craft that he greeted positively before, he now is annoyed with, and he projects out onto this craft, this like box of whatever it is. And now suddenly he's projecting out he sticks his tongue out, and it's like he wants to make the craft feel bad. So he's projecting out some of his feelings, I think. He doesn't have a solid sense of self inside that can hold him together in a more centered place. Instead, he swings to highs and lows really quickly, and there's not a whole lot in between. And so he needs the positive tweets to like build him up. And then as soon as anything negative is said by his dad, in this case, he's brought right back down. So it's just a roller coaster. This kind of psychic structure inside his mind, this starts to look more like narcissism, because he's got this really fragile shell. And narcissists, even though they can appear very confident, a lot of times they have a very fragile shell that's easily broken. And you see that with Nate. Many important points I want to make here about that. So the setup is his dad is really confusing, because he probably moves the goalpost all the time in terms of what he expects Nate to be, or what it would take to get his approval. So Nate is probably confused by that. And nonetheless always seeking it. And then hates him and filled with rage when he doesn't get it. And when his dad knocks the wind out of him, I think he's filled with rage. And I don't think it doesn't strike me that he's ever expressed that to his dad. And it doesn't look like his mom addresses it either. And so what Nate has is a dad who's treating him like this, and a mom who doesn't make any indication that how dad's treating him isn't okay. This treatment from his father, warmth from his mother, but also a lack of protection from her. So what that communicates is that how dad's treating him is warranted and okay. And what can often happen in this setup is, so he's learned he can't go to people and can't go to his dad for approval, or his mom for any real care and protection. And so better to just go inward more deeply and preoccupy himself with achievement and meeting some standards he has for himself than to go into deep connection with other people. We don't see Nate having real deep connections with anybody. We haven't seen him with friends or romantic partners or anything, and so I think he's more focused on proving something and achieving than connection. If he were my patient and he told me something like this, like, oh, I went to my dad's and I was excited about this thing I'd done and I wanted to tell him about it, and he told me how it played out, I would be orienting him to the fact that he went to his dad again for that, even though he knows his dad won't give it.
Okay. Right.
Coach Nate, I hope you're not too great to train us now.
All right, thank you, Danny, thank you.
Yeah, those drills better be lit now. You got a reputation to keep up.
Yes, very funny, thank you, Jamie.
Lucky us, we get to be trained by the Wonder Kid himself.
Very funny, Colin. You stand-up comic now? Kind of ironic because I sat you down at the match the other day. Right, I need all our best goal scorers on the pitch right now. Go. Colin, you can sit this way out. Okay.
So in this clip, you see how Nate kind of takes the ribbing from the other players on the team, but from Colin, I think is his name. Colin says something about the Wonderkin, and that goes right into the trigger for Nate. He's so humiliated that he said the wrong word. He's so humiliated, and there's no structure inside of him that can hold him up and say, so what, you said the wrong word, like, who cares? You also did all these other great things, and you're also working really hard, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, he doesn't have that inside himself. And so that comment goes right in, even though it was meant in a playful way, he feels it as though it was an attack on him. Because actually, that is what Nate is used to at home. I mean, also about the Wonder Kid thing. Okay, so he says the wrong word, but he is the one who used that and put it out there. So it shows this like grandiose sense of self that he wants to project out. He really wants to be so big, and he wants to position himself as a big deal, because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't have called myself that. If someone else wanted to call me that, great, but I would not have put that out there. That's not how I'm thinking. Plus, I would think that anyone's gonna reject it right away anyway, but not him. He put it out there, and it's like he'd been thinking about that word, and he really wanted to be seen that way. So he has these grandiose visions for himself, and he needs that. He needs the grandiose visions to keep him afloat, because he alternates between shame and humiliation and a very puffed up sense of himself. And because he doesn't have that structure that's somewhere in between holding him together, he really needs the big stuff to feel good about himself.
Hello, your new pens have arrived. Just leave them here.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
So he ignores this guy like his dad ignored him, basically. So he's doing as was done to him, and he is pushing out that feeling of being invisible. And he makes this kid feel, or tries to make this kid feel invisible, I think. And again, I don't know that this is conscious. Anytime I'm saying like this is what he's doing, a lot of times Nate and many others like don't know they're doing it. It's just happening unconsciously.
I just wondered. I was wondering if I'd done anything to annoy you. It's just because I felt like you got angry at me for taking the piss yesterday. But Danny and Jamie did the same thing, and you didn't get mad at them.
Oh, I can explain that. You see, Jamie and Danny are like Picasso and Gauguin.
Pedophiles.
Artists. They're artists. And Colin, you paint too, but your work doesn't end up in museums. It hangs at, well, you're like a painting at a Holiday Inn. You know, you don't inspire, you don't move people. You're there. You cover a bloodstain.
Nate picks his target well. Some of those other players wouldn't have accepted that. They would have fired back at him, but he knows what he can get away with this guy. Again, I don't know if that's conscious. And this thing about the artist and Picasso, like you hear, so the projection, like he feels invisible, and like who he is not going to be enough. There's always going to be people greater than he is. So he's telling you about himself in that, but he's projecting it out, which is what is disturbing. So it's fine for all, in my opinion, it's fine for all of us to feel insecure and feel envious of other people or whatever. Like all those feelings are fine. It's when you try to hurt someone in the process, like he's literally trying to hurt. He's not taking care to not hurt Colin. And that's what's more disturbing, and that's what makes it more like malignant narcissism. He cannot tolerate anything bad, and he's projecting it out and doing it in a hurtful way. And at this point, I'm starting to wonder very much, like, okay, what would Nate do if he had even more status and power? How would he treat people in that case? It starts to be very scary that he would talk to people like he is. I'm not a fan. I don't like watching it, personally. I guess it's helping us learn something, but I do not like it.
Semis, I think we can all agree, the wonder kid, managing his own team. Savage instincts, and if I may say, an excellent suit.
Oh, God. Oh, wow. Whew. It's you. Sorry.
You were rude, Colin. Not just rude. It was personal and weird.
No, you're absolutely right. Did you tell Ted?
No. This is just between me and you.
Beard calls him out accurately for what's happened. And Nate's first question is, did you tell Ted? And I think this is an indication of the narcissism again, because it sounds like he's more concerned about how he appears to Ted than the feelings he might have hurt in Colin. And he kind of looks like he's just feeling caught more than he's feeling remorse about it.
Yeah. Hi, thank you. I just want, before we started, just to, well, basically I just wanted to make an apology. Colin, yesterday I was a bit of a,
Asshole, prick, cock, wounded butterfly.
yes, I was a cocky, prickish, wounded butterflies asshole. But I really am sorry. It won't happen again.
It's all good, boyo.
Oh, all right then.
His apology is fine. I mean, he starts to talk and the boys fill in the gaps and name all these words for him to describe him, and all of them are accurate. I was really amused by the wounded butterfly because that character, he seems to feel things deeply, and so of course he's feeling into the deeper place in Nate. And Nate accepts all of the names they throw at him and doesn't put up a fight, which is good. But again, I don't know if it's because people are watching and he just wants people to like him, because he does want people to like him and he does want to be seen, viewed well, but I don't know if he actually has real regret for how he behaved and what caused that in him. One more time, we see how he needs the positive comments, and then he sees one and it really gets in and hurts him. So we don't know what he's going to do next, but it's probably likely that he's going to take it out on somebody.
If you ever do anything to humiliate me again, I'll make your life a fucking misery.
And there he goes. He takes it out on someone. Now, what I didn't show was them giving him a jacket that said Wonder Kid on it, and it's more humiliation for him that I think triggers him. But again, he's just taking this out on somebody that he finds to be weaker, and it's just the name of the game with Nate. And the name of the game with many narcissists, I'm sure you can drum up in your mind. Maybe he won't, he'll figure something out and he'll start behaving more, appropriately with other people, and he'll stop projecting out his feelings of inadequacy, and he will stop trying to hurt people. I don't know, But right now, it doesn't look like he's self-reflective enough to do that. If this were a person in real life, and this is how someone like this operates, it's pretty psychologically sound, I would be staying away from them personally. So those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, and please let me know anything else you'd like me to talk about, any other TV shows. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far, and I will see you next time. Bye.